How's it going, everybody? I'm going to do a quick review of 10 items, 10 tools that are you may not be aware of that would be great to have in the workshop, and they're real time savers. First tool I'm going to go through is the handy clamp, and you can order these online. They're called Handy Clamp, and it's HANDEE. Handy Clamp. Great thing about these is if you have a nut in a location where you can't get at it with your fingers, you can take the nut, place it in the handy clamp, tighten it down, as so. Now you've got the nut. And you, particularly like a trailer hitch, if you ever installed a trailer hitch on your car, you have to get a nut in the back side inside the chassis. This little device helps you get that nut, holds it in place so you can get the bolt into it. Great little device, made in the United States too. Handy clamp. Next thing I want to show you, number 2, or I'll go from 10. That was 10, here's 9, forceps. Now you can get these at flea markets. You can get them if you know anybody who works in the medical business, dentists, doctors, physicians, anybody in the healthcare business has access to these. These are great for pinching off gas lines when you're working on something. They're great for holding a nut. You can lock them in place, obviously. You've got that locking mechanism. They're just super handy to have around. They come in different sizes. This is more of a heavy duty one, and I have some smaller ones here. Just great things to have. Can't have enough of them. Third thing, tie wrap tool. This one's made by Malco makes this one. Made in the USA. Nice thing about this, you can insert your tie in. And it has the ability, wasn't like that. It has the ability to tighten the tie, and it also has a cut where it can actually cut the tie off. This is where you can get a cable tie nice and tight. You don't have to get in there with pliers to cut it after the fact, because you can do it right on the tool. Great tool to have. Never realized you can get a cable tie as tight as you can until you have one of these. Number 4, or number 6 on the list. Carb cleaning pins and brushes. These are available online, Amazon. Don't recommend doing too much activity with a jet, with a steel wire, but sometimes you can't get the obstruction out of a carburetor and a lawnmower or a motorcycle or any piece of power equipment. These come in all different sizes. Some are serrated, some are straight, and they also have the brushes for cleaning. So when you're cleaning a carb, let's say from ethanol gas, you've got some contamination. This is the only way to really clean those areas and get them clean. Again, you'd have to use a lot of care, because running a piece of steel wire in a jet can damage the jet. Number 5, these are called vamp pliers. They're a small pair of pliers, and the nice thing about these pliers, they act, you can use them as a traditional plier, but they have a curved, see if you can see it good here. They have a curved edge in here, right here. And these can grip a screw, where let's say you strip the Phillips screw out. Particularly old Japanese motorcycles, it was common to have these Phillips screws that were stripped out. This allows you to grip the screw and unscrew it. So it's just got a specially cut jaw, especially for that. These are available online also. They're fairly expensive. I think they're around $35. But in that instance where you can't get that screw out, whether it be any kind of screw where it's stripped out, this can help you grab that screw head and turn it because of the shape of the jaws. You can see on the end there, you can see the curvature of the jaws. Vamp pliers. Next thing I have is the K-Tool pen. This pen has glass fibers in it, and as you turn the head, that one's all dead. As you turn the head, the fibers come out, and these are great for if you do a paint job on a car or anything. You paint and you have a drip. This allows you to kind of just abrade the drip rather than using sandpaper. You can work on an area, very precisely to clean and knock the drip down, the nib or whatever you want to call it. And that's what basically these are used for. There's replacement tips in the cap here, so they give you that. And these are relatively inexpensive, $4 or $5. What I like to use them for is for cleaning electrical connections. You know, you've got a spade connection where it's very, corroded. You can hit it with this and clean the connection easier than you can with a piece of sandpaper or anything else. And particularly when you have a piece of wire where the individual strands are very oxidated and you have to solder it. This allows you to really get in and clean those conductors really good so you can solder it. Because as you know, if you have a heavily oxidated copper wire and you're trying to solder a connector on the end, if it's not clean, it's not going to stick. And this does a nice job for that. So these are really handy to have. I always order 2 of them. And again, you've got the extra one, the extra brush in the container in the back. So very, very handy to have. Next I have Kroll oil. If you are a machinist, old-time machinist, this is the stuff that works. There's WD-40, there's all kinds of other brands out there, and PB Blaster, but all the old-timers, they swear by this. This is the stuff that penetrates. Put it on the bolt, let it sit for a length of time, and it's one of the best oils used to loosen frozen metal parts. Really good. Next I have Dyna wipes. These are alcohol wipes. They're great for cleaning tools, cleaning your hands when you've got things on them that, solvents or paint or anything like that. But they're really great for is if you have tinted windows in your car and you're trying to get you have to take it's coming off, so you have to peel it off. This stuff really takes off the glue and the residue better probably than anything. And it leaves no residue. So it's good for if you're applying a decal on something and you want to make sure it's perfectly clean and has no silicone on it or any solvents or anything, or before you paint something, you want to wipe it down with these alcohol wipes. It's guaranteed to clean and remove it. And there's a bucket. You just pull them out of the top. And you can buy these directly from the Dyna Wipe website. These are great too. These are really, I didn't realize how handy these are until I had one. Now I have one in the shop all the time. Next I have is looks like a traditional Phillips screwdriver, but this is made by a company called Vessel. It's a Japanese company. And these are for JIS screws. So in the States, we have the Phillips screw. You go over to Japan, they look like a Phillips screw, but we use a Phillips screwdriver, they really don't fit properly. This is the proper screwdriver. for Japanese JIS screws. And again, they look very, very similar, but they are different, and they do fit better, and they don't strip out as easily as a Phillips screwdriver does when you're using them. This has the added benefit is you can strike the end with a hammer and it acts as an impact. It actually twists. It's got a twisting mechanism in there. So it's an impact screwdriver in addition to being a traditional screwdriver. And they're not too expensive. They're around $14, $15, and they're available online. Nice tool to get, particularly if you work on old Japanese motorcycles. It's almost a necessity because you can get the screws out on the case very, very easily with this. And with the impact feature, it's even better. So there's another thing that's definitely, for somebody who works with a lot of Japanese or Asian fasteners, this is the tool you must have. And the last on our list, clear suction cups. These are available online, relatively inexpensive. They come in a bag, you get 20 in a bag. What these are great for is getting glue into cracks. For instance, if you had this piece of plastic here where it has a crack, you could put the epoxy on the crack or on the suction cup and press it against the crack, and it pushes the glue into the crack, and it'll actually come out the other side, and you get full penetration. And I saw these on a website where a guitar luthier was making a repair on the face of a guitar on a guitar, and he was it had a crack in it, and he was using wood glue and using this to push the wood glue into the crack. But I've used it on plastic with a plastic epoxy. I've been able to do the same thing, and you'd be amazed. It's a small crack, you push it in, and if you look on the back side of the plastic, you can see where the epoxy, squeezed out through. Very, very effective way of pushing adhesive glues, whether it be wood glue or epoxy, into a crack. I've used this quite a few times, and it's awesome. So that's pretty much it. Hopefully you'll be able to track some of this stuff down, but these are things I have in my shop, and they work really well.